we'll go ahead and get started. This is Owning Your Own Trading Style. I'm Triffany Hammond. You can find me at TrifFX.com. Here is what most people do. It's really quite simple. You know, there's a lot of reasons people begin to trade in the first place. Many reasons, most reasons, come out of some kind of need to trade. Very few people go, you know, I'm doing okay financially, but I'd kind of like to learn how to do this. Most people are saying, you know, I might be laid off in the next round of people and I have to learn how to do this. Or we're in debt up to our eyeballs and I'm going to have to figure out some other way to make money and I only have so many hours in a day. And this need, this dire urgency to bring in a second income is usually what drives people to trading Forex in the first place. At least that's been my experience with my students. And there seems to be a mindset that it's fairly easy to do, that with a minimal output of energy and effort, you can just learn to trade and make a little bit of money on the side. And, you know, you read all the risk disclaimers and you hear all the things that people say about, oh, yeah, you just trade on paper for a little while and then you go for it. And it's easy to just kind of neglect the big warning signs that say this is risky, this is your money at stake, this is a big deal. And so generally what people do is they just kind of, you know, treat it like a hobby. They'll read a book, maybe come to a few webinars, find a favorite analyst, and then they'll kind of eyeball it for a little while, and then they just start trading it. If they're lucky enough to have someone tell them, no, you have to backtest, you have to load some information, some historical data, and see if this works. Generally speaking, people just kind of eyeball the chart and go, yeah, look, there's a double top and it played out. Yeah, look, there's a double top and it played out. These work, and then they just dive in. And what most people experience as a result of that is, for some reason, there is something to that whole beginner's luck. Maybe it's the whole, you know, lack of fear. I don't know what it is. Generally speaking, the first trade is a win. And the first trade is usually the trade that people were cautious with their money on. And when it wins, people get really excited and they start to risk more. They start to look for more types of that trade, maybe on smaller time frames, to try to take advantage of, try to get more setups. And as you know, if you have done any testing, if you have been experiencing the Forex market for a while, yeah, things are sort of the same from time frame to time frame, but they're not exact. You really do have to understand the behavior as things start to break down into the more volatile, shorter time frames. And then they go, you know what, the system doesn't work. It doesn't work. And somebody they're talking to in some chat room, or somebody new comes on a webinar and they say this is the next best thing, and they jump right back in and they repeat that process over and over and over again. And it's really a dangerous cycle to get yourself into psychologically as well as financially, because what you're going to experience is more than just a financial loss. It's going to be everything that you told yourself was going to make this good for you, that you were capable, that you could do this, that you're smart, that you learn quickly. Maybe you even took a little finance in college. Suddenly, you're not going to think so much of yourself anymore. You're going to have to answer to your spouse, maybe your family members. As if you're in a situation where this was supposed to get you out of debt, some people have actually borrowed money to put into their accounts, and now they're even more in debt. It takes them farther and farther away from the dreams of freedom that brought them to Forex in the first place, and it's a tragedy. So what's really much more important than just saying, I'm going to read a book and figure out how to do this, and that's a great starting point. That's fine. But it has to be just that, a starting point. And that's what we're going to talk about in depth today, what that looks like to create more than just the beginning of this horrible vicious cycle.